Hello and welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. And today I'm going to be talking about my Femmeuary TBR, ABCDE Femme, because Femmeuary is what I've rebranded February. So during the month of February, I'm going to be reading books that are women-based or celebrate women or empower women. I've got non-fiction, I've got fiction, I've got some children's books, I've got some audiobooks I want to listen to. I've even got myself a short story collection. And I just thought this would be a great time to show you, as I always do at the beginning of each month, the books that I'm planning on reading. Now I have got almost 20 books here. That's not even including the audiobooks that I've got, but I thought that even if I don't get round to these 20 books, which I don't think I will do in February because it's a short month anyway, this will serve greatly as potentially a recommendations video as well, for people who are planning on joining in Femmeuary and don't have their TBR decided yet. So as I said, I've got a bit from each genre. I've even got a short story collection, hurrah. But I will start with the children's book, but I will start by having a drink. I didn't even plan this mug, and look, hers, girl power. The first book is one that I have spoke about recently. This is one that I got for a New Year's present from my friend Hazel. This is Fantastically Great Women Who Changed the World by Kate Pankhurst. This is a children's book with illustrations and information about a series of women throughout history who made a difference. So very excited about reading that. I'm going to pile them up here as I go. The next one is also a children's book, and it's very similar in that it's about women, and it is A Galaxy of Her Own, Amazing Stories of Women in Space by Libby Jackson. So this is just so fun to look at, isn't it? So this is all about different women in space. So it is set out in a similar way to what Rebel Girls is, in that it's got a page of information and then an illustration on the women, and they're all from all over the world, and just bits there. And I just feel like I don't know anything about any women in space, and I really loved Hidden Figures last year, which is obviously going to be a film that I'm going to be watching this month, and I just feel like this will just educate me slightly more on amazing women and what they've done to get us into space. So yeah, those are the two children's books. I'll just talk quickly about the audiobooks that I'm going to listen to as well. So 3 of which are potentially like, well, they are 2 are re-listens and 1 is a reread. So I've already listened to the audiobook of Everyday Sexism by Laura Bates and Girls Will Be Girls by Emma O'Toole. I listened to Girls Will Be Girls last year and Everyday Sexism the year before. Really enjoyed both of those, particularly Girls Will Be Girls, one of my favourite books of last year. Really loved it and found it like absolutely invaluable in terms of content. And I'm going to be re-listening to those this month. I also want to listen to The Gender Games by Juno Dawson, which is a book about Juno's transition from a male into a female. I read the book of that last year and absolutely adored it. The only regret I feel like I have about it is that I didn't listen to the audio, because it's narrated by Juno herself and she's just got such amazing delivery, and I feel like I will enjoy it all the more for listening to her narrate it. So very excited about re-listening to that. And then the last one I've got is excuse me, cough. Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, How Gender Equality Can Save the World by Catherine Mayer. And this is all about gender equality, either it be in the workplace or in personal lives, things like that. The front cover is amazing. I will insert a picture of all of them, as I'm sure I have been. Future Lauren, make sure you have been. And yeah, so those are the 4 audiobooks that I'm hoping to get to. I'm also, David and I, I'm filming this on Thursday, and David and I are going to Liverpool for the weekend to visit Simon and Chris, and his fiancée Chris, and soon to be husband. And we're going to listen to Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone on the way out there, and obviously J.K. Rowling is one of my favourite women of all time. So I will probably end up listening to potentially some Harry Potter throughout the month as well. But anyway, on to the fiction I've got here. So the first one is actually written by a man. Disgusting, I know. This is called Does She Dare? And I found this in the library, sorry about the glary cover, in the teen section. This is by Bernard Ashley, and it's about a girl who's 16 and she has become sort of interested in the suffragettes and their Vote for Women campaign as a 16-year-old. So I believe this is set in the present day, and I can't be sure unless it's set in the past. I won't know until I read it for definite, but from what I understand is that it's set in the present day and she becomes interested in their Vote for Women campaign, but she's also dealing her own battles at home in that she is subjected to abuse from her father. So I feel like this is a really like important book, looking at some really big subjects here for a teen book, and I'm really interested in how Bernard Ashley goes about that. But yeah, I thought this would be great in terms of the suffragette and also in terms of a girl fighting against an abusive father. So yeah, looking forward to that. Another one I got from the library is Under the Udala Trees by Chinelo Okaparanta. I picked this up because it's got themes of female friendship, which I feel like is very, very important. It's about two sets of girls called Ijeawele and Amina. Ijeawele is Igbo and Amina is Hausa. And they form a friendship, and this book sort of outlines their friendship and things like that. So yeah, that is good as well. Then I've got the book from my #1 of all time, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. This is the only book by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie I'm yet to read yet. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie is an amazing feminist. She's written 2 feminist texts that may or may not be appearing a bit later on, which I absolutely adore and I find so informative and supportive and empowering. Let's use the word empowering all the bloody time. And this is the last book of hers that I am yet to read. This is about 15-year-old Kambili, who lives in fear of her father, a charismatic yet violent Catholic patriarch who, although generous and well respected in the community, is repressive and fanatically religious at home. Escape and the discovery of the new liberated way of life comes when Nigeria is shaken by a military coup, forcing Kambili and her brother to live at their aunt's home, a noisy place full of laughter. The visit will lift the silence from her world and in time unlock a terrible bruising secret at the heart of her family. So, adore Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, love her fiction. Americana is one of my favourite books of all time. I've been waiting for the right time to read the last book of hers that I haven't had a chance to read yet, and this now is the time. So I'm really, really excited to read this, and this is probably going to be one that I pick up very early on in the month. The next one is Lullaby by Layla Slimani. Excuse this tea ring that I've got there. It's a very small tea ring as well. Must have been a very, very small cup. I got sent this by Faber last year. This was out on the 18th of January. And they sent it to me last year. And I meant to get round to it. It's a French translation about Miriam, who is a French-Moroccan lawyer hiring a nanny to look after their 2 children. And they find a girl called Louise. And Louise, it's not a secret. The first line of the book, I believe, is that Louise kills the children. Let me find the first line of the book. Hold on. The baby is dead. It only took a few seconds. So yeah, the nanny, we believe, the nanny kills the baby. Now, I thought this sounded really interesting, and I do like a thriller from time to time, but I listened to A Good Read, which is a podcast run by Radio 4, and they were interviewing Layla, and she was saying how this is a really great study on motherhood and where a mother's place is, particularly a working mother, which I find a really interesting theme to look at in terms of like a mother having another woman bringing up her children. So I thought this would be really, really great to read during the month of Femmeuary, and yeah, so I was keen to read it anyway, and then when I found out that those were the sort of themes within there, I was really, really interested. So that is another. And then the last one is one that was sent to me by Serpent's Tail, and this is The Word for Woman is Wilderness, a novel by Abby Andrews. Now, I am not entirely sure what this was all about, but it says here that the tagline that got me, it said, "Meet Erin, 19, feminist, explorer, pioneer, finally." So Erin is 19 and she's never really left England, but she has watched Bear Grylls and wonders why it's always men who get to go on all the cool wilderness adventures. So Erin sets off on a voyage into the Alaskan wilderness, a one-woman challenge to the archetype of the rugged male explorer. As Erin's journey takes her through the Arctic Circle, across the entire breadth of the American continent, and finally to a lonely cabin in the wilds of Denali, she explores subjects as diverse as the moon landings, the Gaia hypotheses, loneliness, nuclear war, shamanism, and the pill. Filled with a sense of wonder for the natural world and a fierce love for preserving it, The Word for Woman is Wilderness is a funny, frank, and tender account of a young woman in uncharted territory. And for me, that sounds amazing. And I've just noticed they've got a few like little pictures here throughout. So yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to get into this as well. So those are the novels. I'll just do the short story collection before I get onto the non-fiction. So the short story collection I've picked up is Sour Heart by Jenny Zhang. This is another one from the library. I had a lovely time in the library looking at all the books. And this is 7 stories of family, femininity, sexuality and otherness. And it says here, it's centred on a community of immigrants who have traded their endangered lives as artists in China and Taiwan for the constant struggle of life on the poverty line in 1990s New York City. Sour Heart examines the many ways in which family and history can weigh us down but also lift us up. So you've got lots of different perspectives here, from a young woman coming to terms with her grandmother's role in the Cultural Revolution, to the daughter trying to understand where her parents end and she begins, to the girl discovering the power of her body to inspire and destroy. So yeah, very excited about that. And as I keep telling anyone that will bloody listen, I love to read a short story in the bath, and I feel like these 7 short stories will be definite good bath companions throughout the month of Femmeuary. And then the last ones I've got here, and I'm just going to adjust the lights because I feel like it's getting a bit dark. And then the last books I've got here are all non-fiction books. I'll start with the one that I'm currently reading, but there's no way I'll have this finished by the end of January. This is 100 Nasty Women of History by Hannah Jewell. This is brilliant, badass and completely fearless women everyone should know. So I'm up to sort of the year 1252, just working my way through history, discovering all about these amazing women. I'm on woman 14 of 100, and I'm just having a wonderful time. It's written hilariously. It's got like swear words in it, and it's just really good fun and celebratory of women throughout history. The next one I've got is one that I'm also very excited about. This is The Button Box by Lynn Knight. This looks lovely, look at it, it's got a nice little gold font on it. So this is tracing women's social history based on the clothes that they're wearing, from, I'm not quite sure when it starts, but all the way up to present day, based on the clothes that they're wearing. And I just feel like this is going to be so exciting, and like, I love fashion and I love hearing about women's history. So this is like, this was bloody written for me, and I'm really excited about this one. The next one is one that was sent to me by the lovely people at Lullaby Book Club. They sent me a book earlier this year, where I unboxed it on this channel to show the sort of subscriptions they offer, and I was really pleased because they asked me what sort of things I like, and I said feminist non-fiction, and they sent me this, which is a book for her and him if he can read, by Bridget Christie. And this is, Bridget Christie is a feminist comedian, and this is all sort of like a memoir of her highs and lows of her life. So yeah, looking forward to that. I've also got Maya Angelou, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. This is Maya Angelou. We all know Maya Angelou is, and this is the first of her 7 autobiographical texts. And this is obviously when she's a child. You find out her childhood with her grandmother in the American South of the 1930s. She learns the power of the white folks at the other end of her town and suffers the terrible trauma of rape by her mother's lover. So some big stuff going on there. And then the next ones are quite short text, so I feel like these are ones that I probably will get to throughout, and these have been some of these are very popular booktube texts, so you may well have seen these on booktube before. The first one is Women in Power, a Manifesto by Mary Beard. I love this so much. So this is from Britain's best known classicist, she's described, talking about women throughout history and how they have been treated. It's interspersed with pictures, and I'm just very much looking forward to getting to this. It's like not even 100 pages long, I don't think. Yeah, it's 97 pages long, so yeah, that won't take me very long at all. Then I've also got, and I cannot believe I haven't even read this before, this is The Beauty Myth by Naomi Wolf. This is about how women are confronted with the dilemma of how to look every day of their lives, and if they're looking the right way and if they're not looking the right way, and blah blah blah. This is one that I've been meaning to read for a very long time. Again, under 100 pages, just over 100 pages, but very much looking forward to reading this. And then from one wolf to another, I've got Liberty by Virginia Woolf, and this is a selection of texts from her books A Room of One's Own, The Waves, Street Haunting and other essays. So yeah, some good thoughts on freedom by Virginia Woolf. I've also got an essay collection from Rebecca Solnit, The Mother of All Questions, Further Feminisms, and this is Rebecca Solnit opening up feminism for all of us, one that doesn't stigmatise women's lives, whether or not they include spouses or children or not, that brings empathy to the silences in men's life as well as the silencing of women's lives, that celebrate the ways feminism has shifted in recent years to reclaim rape jokes and revise canons and lead us to rethink our everyday lives. So yeah, a very strong cover there. And then the last two are by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, who I mentioned earlier. The first one is We Should All Be Feminists. This is a small book made up of her TED talk that she did on feminism in 2012. 12, I think. This has already got, I've marked this in ways, because there's a Beyonce song called Flawless. I'd read this anyway, but there's a Beyonce song called Flawless, and in it she samples some of Chimamanda's speech. One of the greatest things in her speech, which I just think is amazing, it says here, it makes me feel emotional just thinking about it. We teach girls to shrink themselves, to make themselves smaller. We say to girls, you can have ambition, but not too much. You should aim to be successful, but not too successful. Otherwise, you will threaten the man. If you are the breadwinner in your relationship with the man, pretend that you are not, especially in public. Otherwise, you will emasculate him. So yeah, that's just amazing. And then there is Dear Ijeawele, or a feminist manifesto in 15 suggestions. This is a response from Chimamanda to a friend who asked her to give her some tips on bringing up her daughter as a feminist, and she's given so I think there's 11 suggestions. 15 suggestions, as the title would suggest, about how to bring your child up a feminist. So yeah, so those are some of the books that I'm planning on reading in the month of February. I'm sure I'll come along some more along the way. I'm actually, as I said, I'm going to Liverpool this weekend, and I'm sure I'll pick some more up. But I would love to hear what you guys have got planned to read in the month of February, and I'm so excited, and I can't wait to get started. I'm going to be really active on Twitter and Instagram throughout the month. I'm going to be using the hashtag Femmeuary, which I would urge you all to share with me and share with each other what you're reading. And yeah, let's just have a great month celebrating women, and let's just do it. Girl power, yeah!